Back for another First and Goal video. Welcome. Here we are going to be doing a new episode series, kind of talking about a recap for this week's fantasy football playoff performances as a whole, my analysis of what I thought out of some of the guys, some of the performances, some of the strategies that may or may not be paying off for some of you guys. So that's what this video is going to be about. I think it'll be a good one. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to cut deep on a few of your guys' strategies. Some of your guys' go-to guys, I'm going to rip into them, and some of you may like it, some of you may think I'm crazy, but I'm going to give you some of the reasons why I know I'm not crazy, why I know I'm right, and why you guys should be listening, and why you should be doing the strategies that I am doing to put myself in a position to win this season for fantasy football. So, obviously this week of football as a whole was crazy, fantasy aside. We had overtime games, we had crazy comebacks, we had walk-off kicks, we had a snow blizzard game, everything was chaos. And on top of that, it was the fantasy football playoffs first round for a majority of you guys. So this means that now over half of you guys watching are either eliminated from the playoffs or didn't make the playoffs. So some of you guys are kind of down in the dumps, so you could be using a little strategy chat, to say the least, about why your teams may have let you down, why you aren't moving on, what's up with that. So we're going to get right into it. The first takeaway I had from this past week is, yes, QBs still do not matter in fantasy football. And here is why. Dak Prescott finished with 20 points. Dak Prescott is the number 25 QB this season. Justin Fields with 24 points. Everyone's like, Justin Fields has been amazing. Yeah, I know. Then why was he coming off waivers at the start of the year? Why is he the QB 5 right now at this point in the season? Why didn't you draft him if he was that good? Geno Smith with 15 points, which is a down week compared to what he's been having the rest of the season, has been QB 7 this season. People aren't drafting Geno Smith. He's been amazing. People aren't drafting Justin Fields. He's been amazing. Jalen Hurts with 35, and he's been doing this all year. He's the best quarterback in fantasy football, and he wasn't a top 5 quarterback preseason. So why are we taking Josh Allen in the second round? Why are we taking Pat Mahomes in the second or third round? It doesn't make any sense. Kirk Cousins, 32 points. Again, off waivers. Again, top 8 quarterback so far this season. Trevor Lawrence, 27 points. Came off waivers and is the QB 6 so far this season. That is 6 walking examples of why you should not have drafted a quarterback. And some of you guys can be saying, oh, well, Gage, I drafted Josh Allen and he's scoring 30. I drafted Mahomes and he's scoring 30. Yeah, you draft those guys in the second round and they may be scoring 30, but these guys are scoring 32 and you're getting them off waivers. That means you're sacrificing every single pick after the second or third round, which is struggling compared to getting some of these guys who are on the waivers or weren't the top 5 quarterbacks coming off the board. And you're being way more efficient scoring other points at other positions. So there's no reason to be taking a quarterback early. There just really isn't, guys. When you could be having all of these guys doing the exact same things, scoring you just as many points, and you're getting points at other positions. It does not make any sense to me why you would take quarterback first. It really doesn't. There's no excuse. So if you're taking quarterback first, you're probably out of contention. I'm going to be honest. The best teams that are succeeding the most are teams with those quarterbacks who didn't sacrifice an early draft pick. So the next takeaway that we got is that running backs are still the most important position to have. And if you know anything about how I draft, you know anything about how I play fantasy football, what I do is I take Travis Kelce, first or second round, every time, and I take 3 running backs in 3 out of the first 4 rounds that I don't take Travis Kelce. So I don't take a wide receiver, I don't take a quarterback until the 5th round minimum. That's minimum. And I don't take a quarterback in the 5th round ever. I don't take a quarterback in single-digit rounds because I can just get those guys off the waivers that are top 10, top 8, top 6 quarterbacks. There's no reason to take a quarterback ever. So here are some of the running backs that I saw in my leagues that are starting for people trying to win a fantasy football championship. Listen to this. If you would have said these guys at the beginning of the year were going to be trying to win you a fantasy football playoff championship, you would probably think it was ridiculous, and they have no chance. Teams who have these running backs probably don't have a chance. Zonovan Knight, Rachaad White, Devin Singletary, Michael Carter, Rex Burkhead, Antonio Gibson, Donta Foreman, and Cam Akers. Guys, I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. If you're starting any of these guys in your fantasy football playoffs, they're going to suck. I'm just going to be honest. Like, they're going to be terrible. Your team's not going to win. You're not going to go deep. Even if you have, like, these are the prices that you pay for drafting Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes in the second round. You're stuck with running backs like Michael Carter, who is a backup on his team after Breece Hall tore his ACL and was done for the year. So he's basically a third string, and you're starting him in the playoffs. Guys, you're never, ever going to do good in fantasy if you don't take running backs early. Some people think I'm crazy taking 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds. I am absolutely dominating this year. I'm going to be honest, guys. And I will prove that to you very shortly. So, you're probably losing. We'll just keep it at that. We'll keep it simple. If you have these guys at running back, if you didn't take running backs early on, you're probably losing. And I'm going to show you why. So, my next point is that top wide receivers are not needed. No, top wide receivers are not necessary to be good in fantasy football. But Gage, Justin Jefferson scoring 35 points every other week. Guys, it does not matter. I'm going to take a look at some of the wide receivers taken in the early rounds, in the first round, second round so far this season, before it's all said and done. Cooper Kupp. How did he do in your fantasy football playoffs for you guys that drafted him with the 3rd overall pick? He's on IR. He's not playing. Woo! Way to draft him. Good job, guys. Stephon Diggs, 11 points. Been the best wide receiver so far this season, right? He's got to be amazing. No, 11 points. Devontae Adams, 7 points. Deebo Samuel, how did he do for your fantasy football playoffs? Oh, that's right. He didn't play. He's injured. Okay. Glad you drafted him. Now you're watching as your opponents compete for the fantasy football Super Bowl. Good job. Mike Evans, 13 points. That is okay. Good job, Mike Evans. That's the best fantasy football week he's had since week 7. Week 7. That is like over 8 weeks ago, guys. I mean, 13 points is his best week in the last 8 weeks. What in the world can we expect from these wide receivers? Although wide receivers may be scoring more than running backs sometimes in PPR, they are way less consistent. You guys cannot be relying on these wide receivers to pull through in your playoffs. When instead, I mean, how'd Derrick Henry do this week? How'd Christian McCaffrey do this week? How'd Saquon do this week? How are those guys all doing? Awesome. This is all the more reason why you should be taking running backs right away every single time. When you can be filling your wide receiver positions with guys like Zay Jones, 34 points this week. Chris Godwin, 22 points. Deontay Johnson, 20. Jalen Waddle, 20. Devontae Smith, 18. Juju Smith-Schuster, 17. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 15. Christian Kirk, 15 points. All of these guys were not taken in the early rounds. You're like, Gage, these are all top wide receivers. Yeah, now they're top wide receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown wasn't a top receiver. Christian Kirk wasn't a top wide receiver. Jalen Waddle wasn't a top wide receiver. So, listen to this, guys. If you're not taking quarterback first round, you're loading up on running backs. You get Travis Kelce early on. You have Travis Kelce, good running backs, and then let's say you get Geno Smith. Let's say you get Justin Fields. Let's say you get Trevor Lawrence, all off waivers. Boom, you have an elite quarterback. You have at least two elite running backs. And then you have Zay Jones scoring 34 points at your wide receiver position because you're not wasting an early draft pick on Cooper Kupp, on Devontae Adams, on Stephon Diggs. You have Chris Godwin scoring 22, Deontay Johnson scoring 20. This is the recipe for success, guys. You can't be relying on these early round wide receivers. They're not going to do any better in the fantasy football playoffs than these guys that I'm telling you right now that were taken in the 5th round or later. Although taking a QB in the top rounds may seem good because they're scoring points, it's not smart, guys. It's really not smart. Same with wide receivers. You got to be taking running backs. And I'm going to be honest, like, if you're doing that, you're not giving yourself a chance to win. That's what it comes down to. You're not giving yourself the best chance to win. So to prove that this is legit, that what I'm saying is true, I'm going to show you guys all 6 of my fantasy football leagues that I'm in this year. Yes, 6. I spent so much time doing this stuff. I spent so much time researching. I spent so much time drafting the right way. And guys, I went 6 for 6 in my fantasy football first round playoffs this week. 5 for 5, not including my guillotine league, which I'll explain quickly. Guillotine league, there's 18 teams. Every week, the lowest scoring team gets eliminated for the season. So you can be done after 1 week. And when you lose, your team goes onto the waiver wires and you bid on that team's players. So the last team standing after week 18 is the champion of the Guillotine League. So that's a league I'm in, and then 5 redraft leagues. Every single league I won this last week. I'm in the semifinals of every single league by doing this strategy of Travis Kelce and 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds. No quarterback, no top wide receivers, none of that in my drafts. And I'm in the semifinals of every single league. I'm doing really well, putting myself in a prime position to win. So I'm going to show you guys. This is my 12-man league that's in the semifinals. Here is my 10-man league and another 10-man league. I'll put them both up here. So feel free to pause the video so you guys can take a look at these teams. And then we got an 8-man league right here. And then we have a guillotine lineup, which is top 3 because it's week 16 now. So there's 3 teams left and I'm a top 3 team standing. So that's walking proof that what I'm telling you guys is completely accurate. You need to be drafting like this if you want any chance to win. That's just what it comes down to. So obviously a few of those teams you're like, Gage, you have good quarterback, or Gage, you have good receivers on your team. Well, there's a common denominator with a focal point of Travis Kelce in, I think it's 4 or 5 out of my 6 leagues. And then I have some good top wide receivers because I traded for them, because I had so much running back depth. And I got guys like Dameon Pierce or Kenneth Walker, who I drafted way early on, that broke out. Ramondre Stevenson, some guys like that. So I was able to trade away some of my top wide receivers for a top wide receiver. Top running backs for a top wide receiver. So that's why I have some of those top guys as well. But you'll notice every single team I have has top running backs, and nearly every team has Travis Kelce, and that's why I am winning so many leagues right now. And that's why I'm hoping to compete for a fantasy football Super Bowl. So we're going to repeat this same video next week. We're going to probably continue to harp on the quarterbacks that are sucking that you guys took early on. We're going to continue to harp on the wide receivers who you guys think are amazing and drafted right away, and all the running backs that suck that people are having to play in their fantasy football playoffs for who knows what reason, guys. I do. It's because you didn't draft running backs, and now you're eliminated. So please, I'm begging you, if you're winning, good luck the rest of the way. But if you're losing, take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, how did I draft this year? And am I putting myself in a position to win? Because chances are, guys, you're not. And you have to be drafting this way. I mean, I committed to it this year. I legit am 6 for 6 for semifinals. I could not be doing any better than I am right now. I couldn't be happier with my teams. And I have a shot to compete for a Super Bowl in every single league. So please, guys, I'm begging you. I'm trying to help you guys. Please draft the way I draft. That's all I got for this video. Hopefully none of you guys are too offended, but I'm going to be honest, some of you guys are being really stupid in the way you're drafting. So start drafting like I'm telling you. That's all I got for this one. Stay tuned for my Week 16 semifinal round, round 2, whatever point you guys are in your playoffs. Sneaky Start Week 16 video that's coming out in the next day or two. And that's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you are drafting running backs, or if you are struggling, if you're eliminated because you took quarterback or wide receivers early on. That's all I got, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.